reminder, today's call is being recorded. At this time, I would like to turn the call over to Mr. Dave Schaller. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the UFC 156 Media Call UFC 156, Saturday, February 2nd at Mandalay Bay Event Center, headlined by the World Featherweight Championship fight between Jose Aldo and former lightweight champion Frankie Edgar. Today on the call, we are joined by Antonio Bigfoot Silva, Alistair Overeem, Rogerio Nogueira, Rashad Evans, and Frankie Edgar. Dana White, unfortunately, is not able to make the call, and we are still reaching out to connect to Brazil for Jose Aldo. So as soon as Jose joins the call, we will let you know. But in the meantime, we have Alistair, Antonio, Rogerio, Rashad, and Frankie. Let's go ahead and open it up for the first question.
Thank you. And to ask a question today, please signal by pressing *1 on your telephone keypad. If you are joining us on a speakerphone, please make sure your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Once again, that is *1 to ask a question. We'll hear first from Stephen Morrow.
I just had a real quick one for Frankie and Rashad. Have you guys given any thought to football in the past couple of weeks, and you guys have any picks, or is fighting number one at the moment?
For me, fighting is number one, but I definitely I don't really follow teams too much. But I'm hoping Ray Lewis gets the championship. Man, I like him. I think he's an intense individual, and I just like the way he plays the game.
And Rashad?
Yeah, I've been watching a little bit of football. You know, Ray Lewis, he lives not too far from here, and we get some training and some time together. So I'm pulling for Ray, hoping he gets it done. And also, I got another friend on the team too, so I hope that the Ravens get it done.
Okay, thanks, guys.
And next, we'll hear from Steve Feitel with Asbury Park Press.
Hey, my question is for Frankie. Frankie, the move to featherweight, obviously it hasn't been a huge drop in weight for you, but have you had any noticeable differences training to get down to that weight as opposed to when you were fighting at a lightweight?
No, actually, it's been pretty much just positive. You know, when I was at 55, I was forcing myself to eat more and lift a little heavy and, try to put on size. Now I feel it's just more natural. I feel like my conditioning's better. I'm actually a little bit quicker, and it's just a little less stressful, so having to worry about, trying to eat every 2 hours.
So you said it's been positive. Are you pleased? Do you wish maybe that you had made the move sooner, even taking out the fact that obviously you were contending for the lightweight title previously?
Yeah, no, I'm happy the way things are going. I don't want to change anything, so I think it's perfect timing for me.
Great, thank you.
Got it.
We'll go next to Damon Martin with MMAWeekly.com.
My first question is to Rashad. Obviously, Rashad, the last couple of years for you have been really rough as far as timing. You've had injuries, a long layoff, and again with this one, you've had to sit out since April. How tough has it been on your body and mind that you're kind of probably in your peak years and you haven't been able to stay very active?
Well, I mean, I guess your peak years are kind of decided upon how well you take care of your body more than anything. But I feel pretty good. I haven't been, having the time off. It allowed me to just allow my body to just feel better. I think sometimes that fighters, a lot of times fighters just do camps and do fights at the fighter without letting the body get a chance to heal. And give myself a chance to heal and let my body heal up is actually, I think, it's going to make my career go a lot longer.
And I know your focus is absolutely on Little Nog for this fight, but I'd be bad if I didn't ask this question. After the weekend, there's been a lot of attraction, a lot of attention on you possibly facing Anderson Silva should you get past Nogueira. Is that something that's still on your radar? I know you've expressed interest in that fight before, but it seems like right now it's wide open for what's next for Anderson. Is that still something that interests you?
Anything's a possibility. But first things first, the only thing that's on my mind is getting past Nogueira. He's a tough competitor, and I'm excited to compete against him. So that right there is taking my focus more than anything.
And a question for Alistair. Obviously, Alistair, the last year has been rough on you with the time off and everything you had to deal with the commissions. Were you happy to finally be able to put that behind you and really just focus on your fight and obviously start looking at that title shot again?
Very happy, very pleased to be back. Yeah, It's just a matter of time in my sense. We still have one more mountain to climb, that's Bigfoot, but to be honest, I do not see any problem. And then, it's gonna be an exciting day. 2 weeks, 12 nights from now.
And you've obviously had, this title fight in your mind for a while, whether it was Kane or Junior. It seems like it's one step in front of you. Does that change anything, the pressure, the expectations going into this fight, knowing, obviously there's a title shot looming overhead for you?
No, there's the thing is, there's always pressure, there's always tension. I like that. That is my fuel. But every time, every fight is it's the same. You just need to get the job done.
Awesome.
And
Thank you, guys.
I just believe, even if the title will be 3 fights away, 2 fights away, I'm always focused on my next battle. Winning the next fight is the most important thing. Maybe for a title or not.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
We'll take our next question from Dave Meltzer with MMAFighting.com.
Yeah, this is for Frankie. I know I don't want to have you go too far ahead of this fight, but if you're successful here, is there any thoughts about trying to be a double champion or go back if something happens in the lightweight division? Because you were very competitive there. A lot of people thought you actually won the last fight, and it's the division that's deep with name talent.
I got a pretty big feat ahead of me, and I really can't even look past that because that would definitely be a mistake on my part. But just in general, as far as my career goes, titles or non-titles, I just want to fight, big fights, fight what the fans want to see, and that are going to definitely challenge me.
What's the biggest challenge in Aldo in your mind?
He's just one of the most dynamic strikers we have. He's very athletic and explosive compared to maybe some of the guys I fought at 155.
One of the things with him is that his takedown defense has been really impressive in his fights. Do you think that you have an answer to that, or are you just kind of looking at the idea that may be a difficult thing to get?
I'm ready for if the takedown doesn't come. I'm ready to have to stand with him, but I'm definitely going to test the waters for the takedown. I come from a wrestling background. There hasn't been anybody I haven't been able to take down yet, so I'm going to go out there and definitely look for these takedowns.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Up next is Jeffrey Harris at 411mania.com.
Yes. First is for Jose. Have you given any thought to getting a car, as Dana White has been talking about recently? You'll have a car to drive now.
Jeffrey, Jose's not yet on the call.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. First question for Rogerio. It's been a little while since your last fight. Are you concerned about ring rust at all, going against a former champion like Rashad Evans?
Rogério, ele está perguntando se está um tempo que já passou um tempo desde a última vez que você lutou. Você está preocupado com fora de ritmo?
Yeah, I know it's a big fight for me, so I know he's a foreigner champion, and he's very technical, very good. But I've been training a lot for almost 6 months to be fighting. I'm getting good shape. I think I'm in the best shape of my life. I think there is a good chance, but I expect him.
And next question for Alistair. Is it your expectation if you win this fight, you will go on to face Cain Velasquez for the heavyweight title, or do you not even want to think about that right now after what happened last year?
Alistair, are you still there? Alistair? Jeffrey, we'll come back to Alistair and reconnect you on that one.
Thank you very much.
Let's go ahead and take our next question from Heidi Fang from MMA Fight Corner.
Heidi, your line is open. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for the time. Is there any chance that Alistair is back on the line right now, or is he not available? Hello?
Heidi, it looks like he fell off the... Alistair, are you there?
We are working to reconnect him at this time.
Okay. That's all right. I'll move on to Frankie if that's all right. I know that you've brought in Edson Barboza to this camp. how implemental has he been in getting your striking up to par and prepared for Aldo?
Yeah, this has been a huge piece of this camp, and definitely a great new teammate. I think his Muay Thai doesn't get any better than that. He's a little bit bigger too, so he's got great takedown defense as well. So I think him along with one of his old teammates who thinks I'll train with us, Marlon Moraes, those two guys, doing round robins with them, on a daily basis have gotten me more than ready.
Thank you. And for Bigfoot Silva, have you put any consideration into maybe getting a rematch with Kane if you should win this fight against Alistair?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Is there any chance that Bigfoot would want another title shot to get maybe a shot at Kane if he can get past Alistair?
I don't care about the title shot now. I think my focus on Alistair Overeem. I want to fight him. I waited for this fight for 2 years, and my focus 100% on Overeem. After February 2nd, I'm gonna pick on Cain Velasquez.
Thank you for the time.
Just want to cut in. We do now have on the line Alistair Overeem is reconnected, and we are joined by Jose Aldo as well. Sorry for the delay. So next up, we will go to Steven Morocco from USA Today.
It's a follow-up. I thought I'd get your thoughts, Frankie, on Vitor Belfort versus Chael Sonnen and the fight that's sort of being rumored right now. You're like the one guy who didn't have to talk his way into a new division title fight or a title fight in a new division. What are your thoughts on fights like that, like Belfort Sonnen or Sonnen getting a shot against Jones?
It's not my job to put fights together. Obviously, Cody's job and Dan and Joe Silva and everybody in the UFC. Whatever fights are going to sell, that's what the fights that they're going to put on. And people want to see these fights, so that's what will happen.
If you had gone to featherweight and you hadn't gotten an immediate title shot, would you have campaigned for one?
No, when I first went down, I don't think I was. I wasn't expecting a immediate title shot, so I was willing to do what I had to do to get myself in this position. But being that Aldo got hurt, I jumped in and took it on. The replacement fight. This is why I go.
And then maybe for Rashad, are you annoyed when guys try to talk their way into fights?
No, I'm not annoyed by it. One thing we have to remember here is that the sport is entertainment as well as actual the fighting. So the UFC has a job to do to put fights together and make the shows interesting. And with the schedule that they have now, with all the fights they have going on now, it's hard to really make every single fight interesting and a fight that people want to see. But I do give the UFC credit; they do put the fights together that the people want to see. And despite who gets the title shot or how it goes down, at the end, the cream arrives to the top, and the best guys will be fighting for the championship when it comes down to it. So I don't get annoyed by it. I don't look on what somebody else has and like, oh man, that should be me. When it's my time, it'll be my time again.
Okay, maybe the same question for Jose now that he's on the call is, does he pay attention to a lot of this trash talking that's going on, and does he get annoyed by any of the guys that talk their way into title fights?
Eduardo, did you hear that question?
Sorry, did not.
Can you repeat it one more time, Steven?
Sure. I just wanted to get Jose's thoughts on the matter about guys talking their way into title fights. Is that something that annoys him? Does he have any opinion on the matter?
Sorry, the call is very bad.
Eu falo aqui, Zé, é o Ed. Ele está perguntando se você fica perturbado com as pessoas que ganham a oportunidade para lutar pelo título só falando um monte de bobagem, como exemplo como o Chael e os outros atletas. Isso te faz com raiva? Isso faz você bravo?
Então, eu não fico com raiva. Eu acho que isso aí não é o meu papel, né? o Joe casa ruta, então ele sabe o que faz, mas eu acho que não é o certo, né? Tipo, pessoa por na fila, eu acho de todo mundo da categoria que tá dando duro ali para subir no ranking, vem uma pessoa só porque falou, dando oportunidade. Para mim não é certo, mas eu não vejo problema. Se botar na frente, eu passo por cima.
Yeah, he says it doesn't bother him. He doesn't think it's correct, but it doesn't bother him. Each person has a way of promoting a fight. Each person has a way to try to create opportunity in their career. It's not the path he'd like to take, but it doesn't make him mad. It's just he doesn't like it, but it doesn't make him mad.
What would be the correct way to go about it, in his opinion?
O que é a maneira certa para fazer isso, na tua opinião?
Eu acho que é subir conforme a luta, né? Tipo, todo mundo tem que ir lutando e assim vai subindo no ranking, até chegar a luta pelo título.
He says the way he feels is that everybody should go up there and fight and go up there and go through opponents and earn their opportunity to fight for the title, not talk their way into the title.
And we'll move to our next question from Brett Okamoto with ESPN.
Hey guys, thanks for taking the time. Rashad, I had a couple questions for you. I know that you just said that clearly your focus is on this upcoming fight, but I did want to ask you a few more questions about 185. I know that you had talked about that before. Did you ever really start to experiment with the weight cut, and how do you think the weight cut would go if you did decide, in the future that that's a move you wanted to do?
Well, it would be a lifestyle change. I'm talking about not just pre-fight stuff. My whole diet, year-round, would have to change. Because naturally, I don't look at I'm really short and everything else, but naturally my body, it goes to like 235, 230 when I'm not consistently training. So I would really have to change the way everything about my diet on a daily basis. But if an opportunity was there at 185 and I felt it would be, good to do it, then I would do so. But one reason why I didn't, I decided not to do it was because I was like, well, why would I fight? Why would I drop to 185 just to be in the same spot that I am at 205? It didn't make any sense to me, So if an opportunity came along that made more sense, then it'd be worth the sacrifice. But right now, if I'm in the same place I'm at, if I'm going to drop down to be in the same place I'm at 205, I cut the extra 20-something pounds.
I think we can all read between the lines on that one, but do you think that the only opportunity that you would be referring to would be a title shot, or are there some other opportunities at 185 you might consider, or is it only title shot?
I guess it feels a title shot or against a really good a top contender or something like that, where it'd be something that the people want to see. Then it'd be something I would think about. But I mean, then again, at the same time, it's like I'm already at the top of my division, and for me to go down to 185, it's kind of like, man, now I gotta start over and prove myself at 185 because I am good at 205, but who's to say I'll be the same fighter at 185 when I cut that weight and have to deal with that weight cut and how my legs may feel and stuff like that. So there's a lot of variables that can come into play, and I would just have to really think about it. And first things first, if I was to even do it, I would have to do a test cut and just see how far I can get myself down and try to make 185, and then see how I feel from there. But that'd be some other options that I would have to think about as well if I was even going to be serious about even doing it.
My last question, and this is just pure speculation, but how do you think that weight cut would go? I've mentioned on Twitter that I think that you would have a hard time cutting to 185, and I've had fans say, he, like what you said, he's a shorter guy, he should make it easy. Are you pretty confident that you'd be able to cut that weight and still feel the same, or is it a complete question mark for you right now?
It's a big question mark for me. Once I got a little past 30, my body started changing a bit. Before it used to be so easy for me to make 205. But now I really gotta focus on really pay attention to what I put into my body with food and everything else, as well as any nutrition supplements and stuff like that, because it fluctuates my weight. Eat normally now and just having like a day or two off, I can be 227, almost 230 without even trying. So I would really have to get like a dietitian or something get on the Dolce diet or something. That's what people do, right? They get on the Dolce diet.
I guess so, yeah. All right, well, thank you, Rashad. I appreciate it.
If you would like to ask a question at this time, please press star 1 now.
We can go ahead to Andrew Sanders from BleacherReport.com.
Hey guys, thanks for taking me. My question's for Nogueira. Rashad has been tremendously respectful in the build-up to this fight. In a particular interview that I was listening to, he commended you on your jiu-jitsu and said your boxing is one of the best in the division. Are you surprised that the trash-talking Rashad, who we've seen in recent years, isn't taking that same approach with you?
Rogério, ele falou que o Rashad está sendo super respeitoso para você. Ele ouviu numa entrevista falando como o teu jiu-jitsu é muito bom e que ele acha que teu boxe é um dos melhores na categoria. E isso é uma surpresa para você, porque normalmente o Rashad gosta de falar muita bobagem. Isso é uma surpresa que ele está sendo assim?
Traduz para mim. Eu acho que eu respeito, estou respeitando ele. Para mim é um grande campeão, né? Um ex-campeão, top da categoria. Eu gostei das declarações que ele fez. Eu acho que da mesma forma eu estou considerando essa luta uma grande luta para mim e tenho treinado bastante por essa luta porque eu sei das qualidades do Rashad também.
He said that when he saw the interview and when he read the interview, it makes him happy to hear Rashad say those types of things about him because he respects Rashad a lot. He's a former champion and he's one of the best in the division. So yes, it makes him happy that he's respectful towards him because Rogério is very respectful towards Rashad. And he's trained very hard for this fight because he knows that he's in for a war against one of the best guys in the division.
Excellent. And Rashad, with all the talk that's being mentioned about potentially moving down to middleweight, we've heard Rich Franklin in the past talk about the potential of a 195-pound weight division being established. There's not a whole lot of depth for that. There are guys like you and Gustafsson and Musasi and probably Bosch who would probably benefit from that division. Is that something that you would be a proponent of as well?
Yeah, it would be something I'll be a proponent of. I think that'd be a great weight class to have because it's a big drop between 205 and 185. So I think that'd be pretty good, and I think it'd be pretty competitive because there's a lot of guys with body types like mine. We're kind of like in between. I'm not really a big 205 pounder, and 185, I'll be just it'd be too hard of a cut for me. So I think a 195 weight class would be a great idea.
Okay, thank you.
We'll move next to Mike Chiappetta with MMA Fighting.
I'd like to start with Frankie, please. Frankie, what would it mean for you personally and even for your legacy to become a champion in 2 divisions?
I mean, just look like it's never really been done except by Randy Couture and BJ Penn, and they're legends in our sport. So, to be mentioned amongst guys like that, it kind of speaks for itself. So, I'm not trying to look towards just that itself. Obviously, I just want to win my next fight. If I win my next fight, it takes care of everything. It takes care of me winning my title and me becoming a 2-division weight class champion.
In fighting Jose, is there one particular weapon that you need to kind of take away from him or neutralize for him that will, that'll be more likely to lead for victories?
I don't think one particular weapon. He definitely has a lot of tools, especially in his striking. And we've seen he's got good offensive takedowns and great takedown defense. So I can't really just point out one thing that would definitely win it for me because I do feel he's well-rounded.
Okay, thanks. And for Jose, I'm wondering if you can answer, I'm sure you watched Frankie's last fight against Benson. I'm wondering if you thought he won that fight. It was controversial. Do you think he won?
Zé, ele te perguntou para você se você assistiu a última luta do Frank Edgar contra o Ben Henderson e se você achou que o Frank Edgar ganhou aquela luta.
Assisti não só, né? Assisti várias vezes. Então a gente, quando vai lutar com o oponente, a gente estuda. todas as lutas dele e eu achei que ele perdeu a luta pro Ben Henderson.
Que ele ganhou ou perdeu? Eu não vi.
Que ele perdeu. Ben Henderson foi campeão.
Yeah. He said that not only has he watched that fight once, but he's watched it various times as part of the process of preparing himself to fight Frankie Edgar. But he watched that fight, and he did believe that Ben Henderson was better that night.
Okay. And I'm also wondering, Jose, if you win this fight against Frankie, obviously Frankie's been very successful at 155. Will you have anything more to prove at 145, or maybe would this be the time for you to move up to the lightweight division?
Ele falou, se você vencer contra o Frankie Edgar, você acha que nesse momento você vai estar preparado para subir para a próxima categoria, porque não tem muito mais para você fazer na categoria de 66, e se você vencer contra o Frankie Edgar, se você está pensando em subir para 70?
Então, eu estou pensando agora na luta, né? Então eu estou só focado nessa luta agora. Eu acho que eu tenho uma defesa para fazer agora, então pensei ainda depois da luta, né? Então a minha cabeça agora é lutar bem, chegar lá, dar o melhor e vencer. E depois disso, quando passa a luta, aí sim eu vou pensar se eu posso subir ou não.
Yeah, he said right now his focus is strictly on the fight. He's not thinking about that. Right now he's 100% focused on the fight, going up there, giving his best, and winning. Once that happens, then he'll sit back and think about what his next steps will be.
Okay, and I have one question for Rashad, and then I'll get off the line. Rashad, obviously there's been a lot of talk about this potential move to 185. Is a bigger lure for you to moving down potentially a chance to be the guy to beat Anderson Silva, or a chance to be a two-division champion? One for you?
Well, yeah, it'd be a tremendous honor to be, to have held belts in two different divisions, but also a chance to compete against Anderson Silva. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. I get excited every single time I get a chance to watch him fight. So, when my career is all said and done, I want to be able to look back and say I competed against some of the best guys ever in history, and for me to be able to get a chance to compete against Anderson Silva would just be, it'd be an amazing experience and something that I'll be able to take with me forever, and to just, to be able to say I went against the best guy and beat the best guy. I believe I can beat Anderson Silva, and I believe that the skills and stuff that I have right there is something that he'd have a hard time dealing with. But to compete against the first and foremost would just be an honor in itself.
All right, thanks. I actually do wonder if I could just ask Ed real quickly, since I know he's interpreting. Anderson said that, or originally Dana said that he signed a 10-fight deal, Anderson did, and now Anderson said that's not true. Can you just kind of give us a quick update on where exactly that stands?
Yeah, the deal's on the table. It's not signed, but let's keep this on 156.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate the time.
And as a reminder, it is *1 if you'd like to ask a question today. We'll move next to Jeffrey Harris, 411mania.com.
Thank you. My question is for Bigfoot. After that tough first fight in the UFC, you won your last fight, and now you're fighting against a guy who at one point was going to fight for the UFC heavyweight title. What's it like to be fighting a guy like Overeem, a highly decorated fighter and kickboxer, and what do you think of his striking?
Depois você ganhou 2 ou 3. Você que acha você lutando contra o
Yeah, he's a tough guy, He's a great striking. He's a complete guy. He's the best striker in the UFC. But this is not kickbox. It's not K1 fight. It's an MMA. I'm ready for anything. I'm ready for any situation, and I go to win this fight.
And next for Frankie, would you say the leg kicks of Jose Aldo are one of his more effective tools? And do you see any way around dealing with those?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see all his fights. You see he executes the leg kick very well. So that's something we've addressed in this camp. And yeah, I mean, I'm as ready as I can be for him. So, just got to make him not want to throw him.
Thank you.
And we have time for one last question today. That comes from Trent Rhinesmith with Bleacher Report.
Yeah, my question's for Alistair. When you were licensed for this fight, it was revealed that you had undergone some voluntary drug testing. Is that something you plan on doing more of going forward?
Well, I did the drug testing negotiation with my management.
Okay.
If it's necessary for me to do more testing, I'll do that. If it's not, I'll probably not.
Right. So you think it's all...
It's something I'll have to pick up with my management.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that concludes our Q&A session. Mr. Schaller, I'll turn the conference back to you.
All right, thank you, and thanks to all the media who joined the call today. Thanks also to Antonio Silva, Alistair Overeem, Roger